It is 7:51. We do have to shift to this great story, though, we want to share with our good friends at Kean University. A monumental victory for Kean University baseball. The Cougars clinched the NCAA Division III Union Super Regional Championship with a dramatic 5-2 win over Salve Regina in a winner-take-all Game 2, and it marks Kean's first trip to the national final since 2013. They're now gearing up to face Endicott College. That's from up near Elmira, New York, on May 30th. ONNJ's Lisa Marie Falbo caught up with Kean's head coach, Neil Ioviero.
Coach, congratulations. You clinched the Super Regional and advanced to the D3 College World Series. How does that feel?
It feels wonderful, obviously. It's been a long haul this season, step by step, methodically, trying to stay afloat and just keep moving forward. So thank God we're in this position. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I love your trophy, baby, too. It must have felt so good to have that in your arms.
Thanks. This is actually the first time I held it. I let the kids hold it the rest of the time.
Well, enjoy this special time. Coach, your team showed incredible resilience after a tough 5-4 loss in Game 2. What did you say to the players to get them focused and ready for the decisive Game 3?
Well, one thing about me is I like to try to have all the bases covered. And if I'm being honest, I'm more operating on the pessimistic side than the optimistic side. So I like to play scenarios out and get everybody prepared for what's coming. So on Thursday, I believe, after we practiced, I had a meeting with them, and I just, I like to play scenarios. Well, if we win this first game, if we win the second, it's over. If we win the first game and lose the second game, we have one left. If you lose the first game, you're going to have to win 2 straight, and just play out the mentality of what has to take place to navigate through the bracket, whether it's this 2 teams going against each other like this super regional, or whether it was the 4-team regional, or whether it's a 6-team conference tournament. This way, when you go through stuff, you're not shocked and you know how to rebound and regroup. So I told them after the huddle, you guys got 5 minutes to feel bad, and then it's back at work. And, with our conference, we play these 9-inning doubleheaders every single weekend, and we play a couple through the course of the year. So I think that was our 7th doubleheader of 9 innings each game. So this was a normal Saturday for us. It wasn't really a big deal. Obviously, there's a lot at stake. But it's going to show the character of your team and the coaching staff when you're hitting adversity and you're in these tight games, how they play, how they handle it. And that's what we like to be ready for, is those really tough grinds that come at you.
Players like Tyler Stone, Dan Riceley, and Dominic Messino stepped up big in both games. How have their performances and leadership shaped this team's success?
Well, I think our team is predicated on it's not built around 1 or 2 or 3 guys. And you're going to have production that comes throughout the lineup on offense. And obviously with the pitching, there's going to have to be people that step up in different roles. So those guys in that last game, like you asked me about jumping out to a 3-0 lead, it was good to get some early hits because we haven't been scoring that many runs, and just get a little bit of a breather. And what you're trying to do there is just be able to withstand another team's big inning and still be able to be in the game. So they jumped right back at us with 2, and Danny made an incredible play at first base to turn a double play at third. He caught a ball, and then a guy got off the base and he ran him down. That was a key play, because if that inning was still going, that might have turned into another 2 or 3 runs. And so I think that helped us get off the field with the lead. And for those guys, they're just very clutch players. I mean, when the moments are big, they keep coming up big for us. So we're going to need that production from them, and then other guys through the lineup in this next stage.
So you were just in a very intense pressure cooker situation. Now you go on to this tournament. How are you preparing your players?
Well, for me, it's my 7th time. So, I mean, obviously I'm aware of what to expect and the surroundings in terms of, how to go through the day with practice days and meetings. But when it all comes down to it, it's just a baseball game. So our job as coaches is to keep the players free and clear in their mind and playing loose, and just act like it's any other game, because it is. Obviously the stakes are high and you're at a different place that you're playing, but if you can just simplify it for them to just play the style of play that we play and play the way they're capable of, that's how you get out of things like this. It's not doing things that you're not used to doing, or going away from things that you were productive at through the course of the year. It's staying the course in these games, and these teams are really good. I mean, it's everyone out there is coming off recently 2 championships, the regionals and the super regionals. There's a lot of top teams out there. So you got to play your best to hang in there for a while.
Well, with a 40-9 record, you obviously have had an incredible season. Talk about, really briefly, your history with Kean University and the Cougars.
Well, it's weird because no matter how much success we've had, in my mind, I always revert back to the early days when I started. And, we had nothing here. We had no field. It was one of the worst fields out there. We barely had uniforms. Like, we weren't traveling the right way. And, people told me I was crazy back then to leave my teaching job to come take this job because, quote unquote, nobody's ever won there. And we just knew that the kind of people we had back then with our assistant coaches, and Jack Nagy's a man who coached with me for a very long time, and he passed away in 2019. And he's everyone who's been through the program. He's like their father, their grandfather, their mentor, and so he helped an awful lot. I had my brother coaching with me, Frank Beckhorn, who was one of the best players that ever played here. I think the best player. And slowly and methodically, we started bringing in players. The facilities got better. The school turned into a university, and it's been a climb. So in my mind, I don't look at it like it is now. I still revert back to, where we started. And I have that humbleness about me that knows, and appreciates all the stuff we have, because we have an awful lot of stuff now, and these kids don't necessarily, understand how it was many, many years ago. And, it just is really good to, start something from scratch and keep it moving through, the amount of time that we've been able to do this.
Coach, in your opinion, how were you able to have so much success with such a young team?
Well, no, I really appreciate that question because it goes, it comes with a lot of layers. I think first and foremost, last year we knew the kind of players that we had in that particular recruiting class, and we would talk about it a lot. Like when next year comes, we're going to have a lot of success, because I think it brings us back to more of our style of play. We like to play really fast and with great defense, and obviously excellent pitching. And so, like, we knew at the end of last year, like, once we get these guys out there regularly, I think we're going to have a lot of success. And I remember having a meeting with our athletic director, Kelly, after the season. And if you look at the last few years, if I'm being honest, in 2019, we were in a regional, one out from a super regional, and I think we dropped the pop-up, and it led to an extra game that we didn't get. And then in 20, which was the COVID year, we had a really, really good team that got shut down. And then, it's been hard to have some continuity from then on with players necessarily leaving or staying. It's been a huge adjustment in the NCAA with players, in and out. But this core group was here to stay. And I remember, I think in one of those seasons, we got to the conference championship and didn't get it. We got to the conference finals the next year and didn't get it. We came tied for first place last year, and we didn't get it. So we've been knocking on the door so close. And I remember having a meeting with Kelly, and he's like, what do you think you need to get, where we need to go? And I said, a couple of things I think are important is obviously the team that we have. We're very, very excited about this core that's coming back, and the upperclassmen that'll be back. And, just really wanting to be me, just wanting to go out there and do things the way I'm used to doing them. And, with the COVID stuff, that there's been so many restrictions and, with time and things like that. And he just took a lot off my shoulders. Is like, do what you have to do and just be you and go. And so I was able to, relay that to our staff and really get back to our roots of how we go about it, and the length of time in practices and the details, and, being critical when it's time to be critical of those little things that aren't getting done. And this particular group is able to handle the pressure. Like, we've been in so many pressurized games, and they could handle it. And we knew that at times last year how they would practice or how they would play in games. And then anyone that knows me, this is going to sound weird, but my favorite sport's actually basketball. Okay, I love basketball, and I have boy-girl twins that are in 5th grade, and I coach their little grammar school basketball team. And I have a friend named Derek who helps me with the team coaching, and to have the purity of the young kids, just to take the pressure off of this and be able to see the purity of how the young kids go about it. And we were lucky enough to have this one coach that joined our staff. His name was Trey Gardner, and he's like the top AAU coach in our area. And I got to be honest, I told him this to his face months ago. I said, one day I'm going to be getting interviewed and I'm going to talk about you because, we used to have these practices with these kids. We had six kids that really needed a lot of work and six kids who have played. And we put a team together and somehow we ended up winning 14 games and 3 games in the playoffs. And I watched this man work every day with an insane amount of passion. Whether it was our best player, worst player, needed the most work, staying early, coming early, staying late. And it was like a rejuvenation for me to watch how, intense and how, committed he was at that level. And so I had the same kind of kids with my Kean team, and it really relayed. And I just loved working with him, and that rubbed off on me a lot. So that meeting with Kelly and doing that little basketball team and having the success we had from where we came, but those are two big things for me that have rejuvenated us to get to this point. And the players just buy in. Our players really buy into what we're doing. It's not fun sometimes having to bunt or hit and run and, all these little things. But, the more they see success, the more they've bought into it. So, really fortunate to have, the kind of people character-wise, their families, they come from great families. And the administrators have just been great. There's a lot of support, you just get what you need. If you need something, you have to ask, and you'll get it if you need it. So I'm just very grateful for the support staff I have around me. It's been great.
I love that you gave us that insight because I think viewers need to know it's not just what you see on the field, it's everything that goes on behind the scenes. And you painted such a great picture. I just want to know, how do you have the time to coach a big-time baseball team and your kids' basketball team? I mean, that is dedication.
And their baseball team and run,
Wow.
do the camps in the summer, like whatever. It's nonstop. Like it's either Kean baseball or my kids' baseball, basketball, track, bowling, whatever they do. That's what I have enough time for. Other than that, there's not much time.
No, I don't know when you sleep. But Coach, once again, congratulations, and we are sending you all the best vibes as you make your way to Ohio.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a great day.
You too.
He is such a kind, humble, amazing man. Having interviewed him myself, and this is why he's so successful. This is why his team loves him, and this is why they're so successful. Congratulations and best of luck.